Great dark side.
Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll Matty Goldberg. Yeah, I'm fired up. I've been on the phone for an hour with customer service. So fuck everything!
Love that video. What was the customer service for?
Insurance.
Ugh, it wasn't even anything fun.
Well, it's like you have the state-run, insurance thing, and then you got to buy your actual insurance plan, and they kept bouncing me back and forth between the two.
Nope.
And I'm just like, I literally ended a call with saying Luigi was right, and hung up.
Yep.
Like, it was like, I go, this is psychological warfare. This was banned in the Geneva Conventions, man. You can't be doing this to me. This is awful. I just want my meds.
I don't know if it's par for the course of
It really is,
the
sadly.
life that we live.
Sadly.
That's why I can't do it. Like trying to get my birth certificate, trying to deal with the real ID. This is not right.
Manny, those are actually really simple things to get.
Yeah, those are actually really easy.
I mean, if you knew like you need a birth certificate this color, I don't know. A lot of people are upset, but I get it, Luke. It sucks, and I'm sorry you had to deal with it.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm
Just one
sorry
more
they
month
make
till
you
my
jump
work
through hoops.
insurance
I'm
comes
sorry
in.
they
Yeah,
don't
and this
make
is all just to get 1 month of insurance before my new job.
They make things life.
That's
They
such
make your
bullshit.
life
Yeah.
miserable.
I picture them just like you're like you ever see that South Park where they called the cable guy, and the cable guys would come out whenever they wanted, and it was just play with
No,
the
but I
nipples like,
think
oh yeah, we'll come between
Yep.
9
sounds
and 5.
hysterical though.
Yeah. No, but that's how I feel these insurance companies are, It's bad.
I'm showing off some shoulder.
Well, how are you guys doing anyway?
I'm doing all right. We're following my bets. Hit a parlay yesterday.
Matty.
That's about as exciting as I hit a 3-teamer so easy. Never had a 3-teamer hit so easy
Well,
yesterday.
they're gonna start capping your bets if you do shit like that.
Yeah, then excited to talk about Dark Side, and got in a fight with a Cowboys fan about George Pickens.
Did you beat his ass?
Interesting week of interesting stuff.
I like it. I went to the casino on Friday, had a great time, and
You
then
went?
I did.
What did you play? Blackjack?
I played roulette, craps, blackjack, Mississippi stud, Texas Hold'em.
I played every game in the casino.
I did play every table game in the casino.
So when you play Texas Hold'em, you played like cash?
The dealer.
Oh.
It's the dealer.
So you don't play like against
it's
other
not. No. I didn't go to the poker room or anything.
Okay. You're not that cool.
No, I didn't want to play against real people.
So, but how did you do in craps? Because craps is a game.
Craps, I stunk out. It was like me and 3 other people at the table, and everyone just kept 7-ing out right away.
Craps is the hardest game.
It's awesome. It's my favorite game.
It's the best, but it's the hardest.
Isn't that the lowest odds?
Lowest odds.
Like lowest odds for the casino, yeah.
No, for you.
No, it depends on the bets. So the pass line and odds behind your pass line is the best bet in the casino. It's like 0% house edge.
The 2 clowns that we met in my friends in Vegas, when Luke we ate with them once.
Yeah.
But when they got there, I think you weren't there yet. They're like, oh, we've been like learning a system. It's a foolproof system. You do this, you're gonna be up in craps. They're down $1,000 in like 30 minutes.
The only system that works in craps is praying for somebody to get a hot hand and roll.
You got to get hot, and
someone's got to have like 20 rolls. And then
here's the thing about craps: the most fun game, but I've won probably 30-20% of the time, and you have to get out. Once you're up a couple hundred, get the fuck out.
Yeah, once you feel the table's starting to go cold, you got to ditch.
Because it's a game where
it's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys are interested, but there's a great channel on YouTube called Tilt, and it's all about people ripping off casinos like through weird, devices.
Love it.
Like learning glitches in slot machine.
Of course, I've seen those videos. Yeah.
Oh, they're really good. They did one on the guy who invented card counting and whatnot.
I mean, the story your friend told me. in Vegas that you grew up with.
Which one?
What's her name?
Oh,
Marnie?
Marcy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Marcy. So she was a dealer. She told me a story that, when you deal, she was dealing like blackjack. They tap you,
Right.
and her pit bull or guy who worked there tapped her. So she like stood out, she like moved away, and her pit boss is like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "So and so tapped me out." They're like, "We fired him a month ago." So this motherfucker got in his outfit, tapped her, stole some chips, and tried to leave, and they arrested him. But that's pretty fucking crazy.
Pretty desperate too. Like there's no like we obviously know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said he
Um
was a bit, but he got into drugs, and that's what happened.
Drugs will do it. No, these
Yeah,
guys have like cool devices they create to
yeah, they
try and
understand how to short the slot machine.
yeah, it's amazing some of
I've
them.
seen some of those videos. Yeah.
The dumbest one I saw was like this guy. So when poker tournaments happen, they make their own chips. Apparently, it's not the normal casino chips.
Mm,
So he thought he could just kind of bring in his own. He got them made, and he was kind
that's
of like
crazy.
he was doing well with it on like the first day, won like
Yeah.
6 grand or something. Then he started to freak out though, and he flushed all the all the coin, all of them down the
They'll figure it
toilet at
out
a
fast though.
hotel. It clogged the system, and then so people, when they plumbers came and they found the chips in there, they linked it
Yeah.
back to this dude's
Yeah.
toilet. God.
Chips and shit. They had to take the shit off it. But yeah,
Yeah.
they'll people, they'll arrest you. They'll figure it out fast. I mean, we all know about that great poker thing that happened a few years ago
Oh yeah.
where the guy was cheating, where he was getting
On the
the
rail.
video. I mean, that's one of that
Oh,
needs to
that was
get
like
viewed.
legal cheating, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That was bad. What a piss
But
poor representation.
yeah, those videos are fun. I'm glad you had a good time. I watched Hackamania. It's basically like I paid 30 bucks.
Explain exactly why you
Wait, you
wanted
paid to
to
watch
tune in
Hackmania?
to this. Set
What?
this up a little bit. Some people know about the Dabbleverse, some don't. But explain what specific reason you wanted to tune into
Yeah.
this year's Hackamania, Maddie.
So the Dalverse, is created around the world of Stuttering John, and because he's kind of this. They call
Before
him
you
that.
get into it, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Why dabble? Like, why is it the
Okay, I'll
Dabbleverse?
tell you why it's the Dalverse. There was a woman named Chrissy Mayer. I'm not a big fan of her. She's a podcaster. She had John on as a guest, and she was trying to interview him, and it wasn't really going well because he was just being a dick. And he said he does stand up, and she didn't know that. And she goes, "Oh, you're a stand up comedian?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "Oh, I didn't know you dabble in stand up." And he goes, "I dabble? You see, I dabble. I come on, I do your podcast. I tweet it out, and you insult me by saying I dabble." And so they started calling him the Dabbler, and then it became the Dabbleverse.
Okay, that is a great. I'm sold already.
It's a great story. So we all worry that when John like is kind of not on YouTube right now, that the Dabbleverse would die. But all these new loser crazy characters have come in and are being covered. And there's a guy in Minnesota named Steel Toe Aaron who has this bad YouTube show who got in this polycule relationship with another YouTube law tuber named Nick Rekieta, and they were swapping wives. And Aaron's wife just left and ended up living with Nick and his wife. And he got so mad he ratted him out for cocaine, and they got arrested. And now, since they got out, they want the revenge, and they're telling crazy stories about this steel toe guy. So this whole event was about how Aaron Steel Toe licked the semen of this Nick guy from his wife's breast. You following?
I I'm trying to.
So they had evidence like of text messages of Aaron's ex-wife talking about how she just had sex with Nick and he had semen on her stomach and he licked it off. And the whole crowd,
Some people are into that.
and not to mention they had like photos of this guy trying to be sexy that
Oh
they
yeah.
display here. I'll send you one right now, John.
Basically, just like picture yourself in a under the sheets, like with
I
a
mean,
blanket over you,
Jim, why did
and
I
that's
call you
it.
John?
It's okay. It's my brother's name.
But Yeah, so it was a fun there was like 6 or 7 podcasts.
Damn, this dude's got 13,000 subscribers.
I know. It's a shame because you're a million times more talented.
We're both, dude. The fucking Sports Hole should have 18
Here,
million at this point.
Well, it's
here.
not a just world, Jim.
Yeah, there's no
That's a fact.
justice.
That's a fact.
Look, here's one of the pictures that they revealed. This is him trying to be sexy. Uh, let's
Did you
just
set?
see. That's steel toe in all its glory.
If only you could see those man boobs under those.
No, I
Yeah,
could.
Under that
Oh
blanket.
yeah,
yeah.
he's got
Not
Pretty
fucked
something.
up.
hot.
He's got a fucked up nipple, dude.
Yeah, so it was funny. There was some fun stuff, but that's what I did this weekend. I sent it to Luke because I could send somebody, and he was like, I was working, and I opened it up, and the first thing my coworker hears is like eating cum or something. Like,
Now
let's
when
get
it was Dick Masterson going like, now when I think of cum, I just think of Aaron Im.
the whole crowd was going, come, come, come.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was it was quite debaucherous. So,
It's
and I
yeah.
watched a lot of sports and a lot of betting.
Oh, that's good.
So we all had good weekends, I guess.
That's good. I also learned that these sports betting places are not profitable,
Like which ones?
like DraftKings, for
Oh,
example.
what? 100%.
So apparently, sports books were just sort of a loss leader. Like they didn't never really made casinos much money. They just wanted to get them into the casinos, so they
Yeah,
would.
That's why they shove him in the back.
yeah.
Right, yeah, just get them into the casinos so they would go play the
I think
worst
poker,
the games with
like
worse odds, you know.
like poker and sports betting, bring the least profit
Yeah.
to the casinos, but they bring people in. So it's like almost batteries at Walmart make the most profit, they say. So it's
Hmm.
like getting to buy the product for mad cheap,
Yeah.
have them buy lots of batteries. I think it's that kind of
It
strategy.
is, which is just funny because that means like no one's making money off of sports betting. Like,
I
There's
it,
probably some books that do, like some,
I
like
I,
if
I
they're.
would think
well, they
Bavard. I
showed
think
that too. If you win, if you start winning, they will cap your bets on
Oh, a
that.
lot of places. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Most like
which is
FanDuel,
like,
DraftKings.
my
Yeah,
God, how is that even legal?
it blows my mind that it's legal. It,
Like
it blows my mind that that's a thing.
you can't say it's a strategy game and then cap it if someone is winning that game. I don't know how that's
well,
even legal.
well, the other thing I think about sports gambling is, it's like we know this is that they're not setting the odds to win one way. They're
Right.
setting the odds to get the most equal amount of betting and getting the vig.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole crazy part about what the casinos need to do to have a successful,
Right.
Super Bowl or whatever. I mean, every once in a while you might get a Super Bowl where 80% of the money's on one team and then it goes to the 20% and they clean up. But for the most part, if they look at their numbers and are like, it's about 55-45 one way, they're like, yeah, because we're good. We don't have to worry about it.
Right. Right. And the gamblers who win consistently don't even have to know anything about sports. They just have to know the value of the bet.
And
It's
they
very
need to have
bizarre.
a good handicapper. Like I have people that ask me for picks who don't even barely watch the games. They're just like, I need like give me some for $100. I'll take it today. Like,
Sure.
what's your best bet?
Yeah.
So, but I would assume like as craps is you can lose $500 in a minute. That's where they want the money, and it's like they also know if you lose a sports bet, most people go on tilt and they go to the craps table, they go to the blackjack table, and they try to make it back fast, and now they're down $1,000 more or something.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's it. All right, guys.
But yeah, I would say sports and poker, from what I hear, is the least amount.
Well, poker, there's no money going to the actual house, is there?
There is
How?
the every cash uh hand,
Hmm.
the house gets like, I don't know,
A-
some sort of 10%.
like a percentage or
And
something of
then
it.
every tournament, when I play a tournament, if the buy-in's 150, they'll be like 30 goes to the
Oh, okay.
house,
Gotcha. All
It's a
right.
lot. It's a total bullshit thing.
Right.
But
Well,
they're
that I
not
mean,
make.
for
I
that
mean,
at
well,
least,
they're hosting it,
I was
so
gonna
I
say
get
for
Yeah,
that.
that at least they're like hosting. They have the
yeah,
venue.
Yeah.
They're
that's what
doing
they're
all that
doing.
stuff.
They're hosting it is what you're paying for. But
Right.
like they want you in craps because they know that most people, like my buddy, he goes to AC all the time. He loses $1,000 a week there in 5 minutes.
That's no, I mean, is he rich?
Yes,
Okay. Well, then fuck it. Have fun. I don't care.
exactly. He
As long as
doesn't
you can
care because he's got
stop, as long as you don't get into trouble,
yeah.
then go have fun. Yeah,
He,
whatever.
he that's what he does.
Well, good.
And he
Damn right.
wins maybe one every 5 times at craps. But when he goes to AC, he's gonna be
Maddie,
down.
the thing is, you got to figure out, he's just throwing his money around. You got to figure out how to get his money into your pockets.
More
Yeah.
importantly, you need to figure out how to get his money into our
Yeah,
pockets.
my pocket, Maddie. Come on. Be a
Well,
friend
this
here.
guy is a nut. Like I've been lecturing about his sports bets because what he does is we'll bet on something. Like the other night, I'm like, bet on the over of the Oilers Knights. He bets on it. The Knights are down 3-2. So like the over will probably hit because it was 6.5. He bets on the Knights money line, live bets him. He loses, and I'm like, you just killed your bet. Like you're so crazy. You had to bet in the middle of a game that you were gonna win.
Have you guys ever just blitz bet, like just went doom, 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 not even thought about it
I have
anything?
guys that nuke. What they do is they bet on something, and if they're losing and it's close, they keep money lining it. They keep money lining it, and they get hooked. So like,
Oh.
what's a $200 bet becomes like $1,000 bet because the gamblers are crazy.
I have done that a couple
No,
times.
like I would consider getting an app just for one night of just I'm gonna pick. I don't even care. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
like go through my mental gymnastics of how the team's
and you
gonna
could
win or
win
lose.
just
Oh,
as
Luke,
easy.
Right?
Luke,
Yeah, yeah.
Luke. I do this about once or twice a week with Japanese and Korean baseball.
What you
Yeah.
mean you don't
I just
study
pick the
Japanese and
just
Korean
pick the teams.
baseball?
Just pick the teams.
When I was a
I love that.
maniac, I used to bet on Australian horse racing. Couldn't see the horses. It was the only thing you could bet on at like 1 in the morning out here
Are
because
their
nothing
horse
to.
names even crazier than ours?
The races are like 25 horses
We got Chimbly Wimbly
and
Dibbly
they're a
coming up
little
the.
longer and they're on grass and it looks different and there's like a lot more horses. But I would just pick a number and
Yeah.
odds I liked and then I would just refresh. And if I won, the money would be there. And if it didn't, I wouldn't even know. It's pathetic. Thank God I don't
Well,
do that shit anymore. I mean,
Speaking
yeah.
of degenerate gamblers, you know what I'm about to say. Breaking news. Pete Rose now eligible for the Hall of
So
Fame.
you
Him
just I
and
whoa.
don't get
Shoeless Joe
this.
Jackson.
I don't get this. Like, why did you do it when he died?
Because that's the punishment, Maddie. I think it's fair too. Like we'll give it to you, but you're not going to be alive to see it.
Just let him know. Like, just say, look, we're gonna put you in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you can get out a Ouija board and do a little seance with him.
Yeah,
Maybe he
you can do
knows.
that.
Let him
Maybe
know.
he knows.
And then he'll
Maybe
say,
he's in
like,
heaven.
put
Maybe he's
50 on the
in
socks tonight
yeah, maybe
on
he's
the
in
Ouija
heaven where
board.
he belongs and he knows.
Yeah.
The pearly gates are smiling.
Oh, yeah. But that's cool news. I'm glad to hear that. It's
I mean,
long
how could they
overdue.
let shoeless Joe Jackson in? It's a disgrace.
What is baseball coming to?
Yeah.
8 men out.
I'm fine with both. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is. Um, it's just kind of wild because this is like he kind of lived long, like he stayed alive to get this word news, and then it comes. But I guess that was the point,
Well,
like
Maddie,
punish
it
him
wouldn't have
before he
come if he
dies.
was still alive. That the
Yeah,
rule was that the rule that they just passed was that like you're eligible after you die.
It was a lifetime
And it
ban.
doesn't mean they're even going to vote him in. It just
it's like
means that he's
that
eligible.
Curb Your
Yeah.
Enthusiasm where they do the vows till death do us apart,
Uh-huh.
and until afterlife. And he was like, I think like the vow should end when I die. Like I should be able to
Right.
date, which was a funny episode.
That was very funny. NBA playoffs. Very interesting. Great. Too bad Jason Tatum is out with an Achilles
As I
now.
trashed him and he fucking balled out yesterday.
Oh
He
my
did
God,
go
the guy
hard. He
had the
went great.
game we've
I
all
feel
been waiting
horrible.
for him to have.
I feel terrible.
I
Well, I
feel
don't.
personally
They were
responsible
going
because
to
that was
win
the
that
first
game
game of the
anyways,
series
but
I
he
You
wanted
know,
to
did
I
his.
feel
watch.
like
Yeah.
such a jerk because
You think you did it?
I'm an unathletic schmuck who's sitting there like he sucks, can't do this, he's a bum. And then like, you hate to see somebody hurt. You hate to see somebody like where, he's gonna have to work really hard to get back to where, you know,
Achilles is big.
and so I just wish him the best and I apologize and I feel like a schmuck just being like a stupid fan, like, because he had two bad games. Granted, the games did suck, and he probably cost the Celtics the series, but you know,
That doesn't
yeah.
sound like an apology to me.
He shouldn't
So,
need to apologize. He's Matty fucking Goldberg.
no, I
Ooh,
feel bad.
good
I
point.
think he's a great player, and I think he's a great guy. And there's words that the Celtics might break up after this year.
I
And
think. I mean, I think they will because I think the money will be.
They
well,
were going to.
Porzingis has
They
to
couldn't keep
go.
everybody. They were going to lose like two, three
Yeah,
players.
Porzingis has to
Um,
go. Maybe Drew Holiday. I'd like them to keep White. White is really good.
yeah,
He's perfect. Pritchard's been good. It would be nice to keep Brown and Tatum, but
I think
this
the Brown
feels
Tatum
this
duo
feels like
has to
such
stay.
like they should have repeated easily this year.
well,
And
it's hard. It's emotionally hard.
I know it's hard, but shit, your window's tight, man.
I agree.
You know, um,
And the Celtics are now a franchise that are like, we always want to get ahead of that window. We never want to have like guys that are aging, that are past their prime. And, everybody bitched when they traded Garnett and Pierce, but that led to this championship and these really great seasons they've had.
mhm.
So they might be like, we got to do it again. We got to like, might have to start over.
I don't think they'll start over. I mean, they'll keep Tatum and Brown. They'll just they just had a really good roster that just
Yeah.
lined up perfectly. And you can still replace it with vets too, but it's who knows? They just had a really solid roster, and it's too bad they couldn't repeat.
Hmm.
But it also makes things real interesting now because now the Knicks are one game away from the Eastern Conference Championship. They haven't been there in about 20, or they
No,
haven't
and
been
the
to the
Knicks have great fan
yeah
base and wild crowds.
probably
And
the best fan base compared to what they produced in any sport. I
look, I'll
mean,
tell you this: as much as I can't stand the celebrities on the court,
yeah.
the atmosphere is like no other. Like when the Knicks are good and they got their celebrities and the same assholes that show up that act like they're huge fans but want to be seen on
I
TV.
will say I do feel like the Knicks celebrities. There are some of them that are like diehard
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
compared to
love
like.
yeah.
being shown though. They
Oh
love
yeah.
I mean,
like
it's
Ben Stiller
yeah.
doesn't need to go to every game. I know Tracy Morgan's a diehard. I mean, Spike Lee's been there when they suck, but
I
some of
know
these other guys.
Timothy Chalamet, baby. Put respect on his
I'll tell
name.
you this though, Timothy
Call
Chalamet,
him by your name.
and everybody says this. He went on ESPN Game Day, a college football show, and he held his own, and
He
It
was
was really
off.
everybody
funny.
said
You
that.
know what? The only problem with that, I wanted him to do the picks as Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
That would
That
have
would
been
have been
sick.
fucking sick.
that would have been awesome.
Or
But
oh, wait,
yeah,
at the
he
time it
gained
would
my
have been like,
respect. I gained a lot of respect from him. And then he did an episode with Nardwar too.
yep.
That's awesome.
He's making all the right moves off the. Anyways, yeah. So Timothy Chalamet, you got yeah.
But the Knicks are looking good, and Brunson is a hell of a player. And uh, somebody made an interesting thing that if the T Wolves play the Knicks in the championship, that's so wild because both teams like made trades and made
Yeah,
both their teams better.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's exciting. This is some of
And
the
if those
most
teams play, it's like the start of new
By the
superstars.
way, you see how great Steph Curry is because you take Steph Curry off the Warriors,
oh
and
yeah.
then he's a hell. I was arguing with a friend. He's like, he only has one championship Finals MVP. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
No, that
That
title they
means
won a few
nothing.
years ago really like changed my
Some,
view on him.
yep.
I'm
He
like,
also
wow.
makes everybody
Yeah.
better around him. Like if you're gonna D up on him, other guys are gonna get easy opportunities. And he is a legend.
Yeah,
You can't
it's
take
even though
away
his
from
production is not always great in playoff games or clutch times, it's but his that's what they say. Steph's gravity it is real.
exactly.
It does
You
make a
take him off
difference.
that team, they got nothing.
Yeah, and this is like it's kind of sucks because it's like this might have been one of his last great
Yeah.
opportunities, and who knows? They could battle back. He should be back maybe by the next game,
It's gonna be
hopefully.
hard because now I gotta win
It's gonna be
three in a
very
row.
hard, yeah. But that's what's gonna make it exciting too.
But you see, like they drop off so much without him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We still got the Nuggets and Thunder tied up at 2 games.
It's been a great series. I mean, I think Oklahoma wins in seven, but there's something about the Nuggets and Aaron Gordon has really stepped up his game.
Yeah,
So he's really helped.
yeah. I feel like with the Celtics sort of inevitably going to lose, that it's kind of wide open now. I
Yeah.
feel like confident in
And
any of
don't
these.
count Cleveland out.
Well, I'm going to count them out, and they're playing well tonight, but they could still lose
They might,
tonight.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what I haven't watched much Indiana, so I don't know how exactly
They're
they're getting
fun.
done.
They're
They're a
Yeah,
lot
fun.
of fun. They can score. Halliburton's a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah,
I,
they're a good squad. You can't look past them either. So I don't know. This is kind of a really interesting
I'm
playoff.
excited for this playoffs, and like
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest NBA guy around, but very
The
excited
playoffs
because
have been very
now
fun.
that the Celtics are eliminated, like Luke said, it's
They haven't been
the
eliminated
chaotic
yet.
aspect and wide open of it. Well, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna call it Celtics out. Done.
Until they're eliminated, they're
Dead. They're
eliminated.
dead.
What you mean down 3-1 without Jason Tatum? You're going to put that out there?
I'm gonna
You're
put that out there.
you're risking
Hot
a
take.
lot.
Hot take there.
Okay. All right. We got yeah, so Nuggets and Denver going at it tonight. I would love to see Jokic back on the main stage again. That'd be great. Also, basketball news: Mavericks, through all their savvy moves this year, end up with Cooper Flag.
If they
How
pick them.
what they say, point zero whatever percent
Oh,
chance?
1.8.
One point
1.8.
eesh.
Now everybody's calling this, they're saying it's rigged.
That's bullshit. Well,
I
because
don't think I don't think it's rigged.
The rig
no.
stuff is funny because it's like, okay, send a superstar to the biggest market. We'll give you the number one pick.
Well, yeah. So
Easy.
that's
Easy
what happened when
conspiracy. Easy.
when the Pelicans sent AD to the Lakers, and that's what happened when the Mavericks sent Luca to the
It's an
Lakers.
easy conspiracy theory.
Right. It is. I don't know. I'm glad that. I mean, the Pistons have not benefited very well from losing a lot in the last couple of decades here, but they did end up with Cade, who I didn't realize was going to be as good as he is. But there was several times they also should have had the number one pick too, and didn't, including when Wembenyama was
I mean, it kind
drafted.
of rejuvenates that whole fan base because it was like they were so down and so
Right.
angry. And
What would
now,
you do
hey,
if you're
they
the
gotta,
Mavericks? You now have Cooper Flag, who's only going to be 18 when he joins your team.
yeah.
In my mind, I would move your vets and start moving younger right now. And
Yeah.
you'll have another bad year or two, but load up on some draft picks and go from there. Then you can retool with other
You
vets
have
later
something to
on.
build around now.
Well, they are a
Yeah.
playoff team without Cooper Flag. I mean, a play-in playoff team, but nevertheless a playoff team. And
I
that
mean,
means a lot.
you think it's possible it can make enough of a difference to make them a real contender if the other two can
I
stay
would say a
healthy?
couple years away if he's that
Right, but by
good.
that point, you have 2 more years of AD in his legs, and who knows what Kyrie's going to do.
Well, if you can move AD, that would be smart, but you still have Clay Thompson and I guess
Yeah.
Kate, what's his face? Uh
Oh,
forget his name.
I think all the people on the team like will not be around. Like, I would just go younger, get a couple vets who can do good for him, but
Tried doing
trade
OKC.
trade your stars and get some assets for them now because they're not going to do you any good right now. That's my
But I
thought.
don't think it was rigged. I just
No.
think there's sometimes when it's like poker. I remember one time I had pocket aces. We go all in with pocket kings. I got the ace of spades. three spades hit the board on the turn. So now he can get one king. So he's got one card in the deck on the river to hit because I have the flush if the king of spades comes in. And the last king came in. That's got to be, I don't know what the odds are there. 1 out of 500, 600, but it happened.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Shit happens, bro. Shit happens. R.I.P.
Yeah, that was really
Sabu.
sad. One of my favorites.
He just retired. He thought he was
Yeah,
just going to walk away.
Did he just do a match not too long
He did a
ago?
yeah, he
retirement
had a
match.
retirement match.
Yeah.
The thing about Sabu, like when ECW was like my thing in the 90s, he was he didn't talk, but the stuff he did was so cool and so awesome. And it's like one of those things where, wrestling is such a political game where a guy like the Ultimate Warrior can be a champion and make a lot of money and be on the top. And you got a guy like Sabu who probably never knew how to play the game, that pound for pound is doing incredible things in the ring with the chairs and all the flips and all the crazy stunts and the barbed wire, and yet made probably the minimum of what he should have made. Crazy.
Oh,
Or the
yeah.
name he should have had.
Yeah. He should have been a cocaine dealer to the Bee
I've been
Gees.
watching a lot of podcasts about guys talking about him and the respect they have for him and the kind words they say about him shows like what a guy is. And it's crazy because he's doing all this insane stuff.
Yeah. It was, yeah, he's just an indisputable legend.
Yes.
Um,
Him and RVD, Rob Van Dam together, just
yeah.
they were great. I think one of the great memories of ECW is when they had Jerry the King Lawler invaded. They were like working for him to beat up all the ECW wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And with Lawler talking and Sabu and Rob Van Dam kicking ass, it was great.
I gotta look that up. I didn't
Yeah.
know that trio existed.
What they would do is they turn the lights off,
Uh-huh.
and then it would be the lights would go off for like 20 seconds, and then Jerry the King was in the ring. And he's like, "Look at this fucking bingo hall, you fucking losers."
Yeah, he'll be missed. There, I think there's a dark side of the ring coming up with him and Iron Sheik.
Well,
Is
no, the
it?
Great Sheik, which I think is his uncle.
Oh, the Great Sheik. Yeah, the
I think they're all
well,
from Michigan,
no,
by the
he
way.
was there. There was that his uncle actually was the Iron Sheik. It was the original Iron Sheik, though, not
Yeah.
the one that lost the belt
And
to
I
Hulk
believe they
Hogan.
all grew up in Michigan, right?
I think so. Yeah, that is the largest Arab population outside of
Yeah.
Arabia. So
Fun
that makes
fact.
total sense. RVD also Michigan. Battle
Mm-hmm.
Creek, home of
Battle Creek.
Kellogg's. Home of Kellogg's.
And the Pacers
Uh,
take the lead.
yeah, you can feel it. What's going to happen?
I'm calling it. It's over.
It's not over yet.
Jim,
It's
you're really
over.
putting yourself out on a
It's
line
over.
tonight. Jim, come on. Wow.
But wait, can I say one more thing about this George Pickens trade? I
We
got in a
didn't say
fight with
anything about it. You're welcome
well, I
to
got in a
speak
fight with a
about
Cowboys
it.
fan this week, and he was like, "Yo, they got Pickens, like, this is gonna be sick, blah blah blah, Super Bowl, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No, this is stupid. This is what the Cowboys do. This guy is toxic. He's already been traded in 4 years, which Mike Tomlin hung on to AB for like 8 years. What happened when AB went to the Raiders when everybody was like, oh my God, he's on the Raiders. They're going to be amazing. Like, I don't know how getting a toxic player who's already problematic in 4 years is going to put your franchise over the top. Did this with Terrell Owens years ago, who was a much better player and absolutely backfired.
Yeah. I mean, when's the last time a receiver put like a team over the top, you think?
A receiver that was like a problem somewhere
Right.
else.
It does
And he's
not.
like, oh, this guy goes, you want to make a $300 bet? He's not going to be a problem in the locker room. I was like, no,
How do you even qualify that
you
too?
can't make a bet like that. You can't measure that.
No, you can't. There's no metrics.
How do you think he does though?
I
Like
couldn't
on the
answer,
field,
but
like on the field.
from what I heard, they were saying that he showed up like 90 minutes before the Christmas game versus the Chiefs. Like he literally showed up an hour and a half before the game. He just motherfucked the Steelers on Twitter or X, whatever, like a couple days ago, saying they're cheap, which it's a red flag to your new franchise because you're like, oh, this is what he does. Okay, we'll have to get used to this. It's like people think like, oh, he was in a bad situation. He just needs to be in a good situation. It'll work out. It never works that way, and you don't win
It
that
might
way.
this time.
This
It
time
might
it
this
will.
time.
Yeah.
Just the guy you want as your wide receiver too.
Yeah, the guy who wants to be wide receiver one. That works. Who know? I mean, on paper it could work.
On paper, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
on paper
got
it's
an
great.
incredible talent.
Can't wait to
Speak.
see him in the UFL eventually if he
Yeah.
like falls apart
Those guys
mentally.
won't do it because they don't like to like shit on their ego.
Josh Gordon did it. He was a problem receiver.
I needed money.
Yeah, but that was just
You know,
drugs and
Here's the
alcohol.
thing about Josh Gordon. What I saw a thing on Josh Gordon, and he's not a diva. He has anxiety.
Yeah.
He has anxiety to perform. So he has fear. He's not an asshole. He's actually a really nice guy. It's just a very sad thing that a guy with so much talent has anxiety issues. So this is not like him. Josh Gordon never motherfucked a franchise. Josh Gordon never left the franchise and then motherfucked him on Twitter, which
True.
you're still playing for the Shield. Like I know that sounds cheesy, but you're still an NFL player. And like you're not you might be playing for the Cowboys, but you're still in the NFL. So Josh Gordon is a whole different thing.
That's
All
fair,
right.
Maddie.
Today we say goodbye to Derek Carr as well.
Yes. Who I heard got a parade in New
R.I.P. Derek
Orleans.
Carr.
What do we grade Derek Carr's whole career?
Absolute B minus C. I mean,
I was gonna say like C plus B minus
I'll tell
somewhere in
you
there.
this. If you go to me, name me the most average of average quarterbacks, I would say Derek Carr. And
The Carr
that's not an
brothers.
insult. Because to be average in the NFL, you got to be pretty fucking good,
Do we
especially
feel like
quarterback.
he could have been more? Like
Yes.
he had the talent, but just couldn't get
When was
consistent
that bad
enough?
injury? When did he have that bad injury?
2021 or 2020 or 19. He had a great year and he got hurt right before the playoffs,
That's what it was. Yeah.
and he was never really the same. But he was always a good guy. He always kind of got shit on by his own teammates, but he always seemed like a decent guy. Just didn't have what some of the best had. But in the NFL, it's like if you can do what Andy Dalton can, you can have a long career. And him
Yeah.
and Andy Dalton are like the most mediocre quarterbacks where every once in a while they have a great game. You're like, oh my God. And then the next 2 weeks they stink to join them.
Is
I'll give him
Dalton
this. He
still
did
on the
seem
Panthers?
unflappable. He did seem like nothing seemed to get to him mentally, at least.
Well, it was tough because he always got shit on by his own teammates. And I always
Yeah.
felt like he didn't deserve that.
Oh yeah, that's it was pretty funny though.
Do you think he goes into coaching?
Maybe. I think announcing.
Yeah, why do you need
His son,
that?
his brother is pretty good. His brother's on the NFL Network.
Oh, is
He
he?
had a better career than his brother. His brother was
Yeah,
the
he
number
did.
one
Are you
pick
excited the
overall.
NFL Network is now going to be owned by ESPN?
Is that true?
Yeah, Rich Eisen is now back on ESPN because of
I
that.
hate that. Please tell me that's not true.
It's true.
That's true.
ESPN bought the NFL Network.
Yeah,
Please tell me that's not true.
it's true.
It's a shame.
Right? They just wreck everything good.
They really do with their garbage.
Yeah, they wrecked McAfee hard.
He wrecked
Speaking,
himself
I'm
with his
kidding.
nonsense.
and the woman who wrecked Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson,
Oh, she's the best.
Jordan, baby.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I just see it. It's Jord, like Jordon.
Oh, is that how it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she lost Miss Maine.
She didn't just lose it. She was second runner up. Is how they worded it.
That's
Sorry, one sec,
third,
guys.
right?
Yeah, third place.
Okay, I'm not insane. That's a weird way of saying that. I didn't know. Like, how old? Like, she's 24. I thought she'd be too old to do this shit. How old
No,
is?
I mean for like those are the pageants that get you into Miss America. I think you could be up to like mid 20s on that.
Mm. I mean, that's a good place. Third is good out of an entire state, even if it's a very not very well populated state.
Have you like been keeping up on all the stories about them?
I don't. Why don't you fill us in because Maddie's got some opinions as well.
So she strong armed herself into commercials, like two commercials. Well,
Okay.
one real commercial, Duncan's one, but there was another one where she like had this whole idea while they were in the middle of the commercial shoot, so that what they did was just have not turned on cameras film them
Hmm.
and just do a fake commercial shoot.
Right.
Apparently she wants to uh she's like they're not talking about how they met because she wants to do a reality show.
Mm.
Love it.
Yep.
This is Alec Baldwin all over again.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
very
it's funny.
reminiscent.
Like this is all the least Belcheckian way of doing anything. This is really
They met on the plane when
Maddie
she was
wants him fired
19.
before the season starts.
I mean, you might have to.
There's a non-zero shot that Bill Belichick does not coach a single game for UNC. I think if he wants to leave, his buyout like super shrinks next week. It's
Oh,
like
really?
a
It's
million
just like
bucks.
Oh, like he can
because
just peace out and go.
He can just
Okay.
peace out. Yeah, he just like yeah.
they
I
might
mean, he'd
After
make that
next
by
week,
going back into the booth, or going
they
on to
might
yeah.
they
commentating.
might have to. This is like if I'm North Carolina, I'm like, this is not a focused guy. Like he's not, college sports is big time. And you have to be able to separate your private life with your person, and this is like it's blending and he's always been the most like I'm sorry, he's coming off as a massive fraud and everything. And
Yeah.
I get like sometimes you get caught up in a situation that like just takes over everything you believe in. But this is a guy who's preached a certain thing of how to conduct themselves, of how to be a teammate, of how to team, of how to keep things quiet, of how to avoid the noise. And he's done this his whole life. And now this one girl is like destroying this whole thing. It's wild.
Do you think his image is being tainted?
Of course.
Like
What?
his whole history?
Yeah, but
They won't remember this. I mean, no matter what, you're not going to take away like
No. But like
you can't take away what
six
he
Super
did,
Bowls.
but what it will go down in the history is they'll do a documentary in 10 years and they will show the Belichick of, intimidating guys like Tom Brady, of
Right.
big time guys of trading Randy Moss as soon as he like wants a contract. He's always kept things. He's completely in control. You don't speak, blah blah blah. And then this woman he meets, and now everything just goes away. Like everything just unravels. And now he's coaching college where you have to be more of a leader and a teacher. You're teaching men to be men, and like, I don't know, man. This is just garbage.
I think she's a pro at this stuff because her last boyfriend was like some 60-year-old guy.
60.
Yeah.
Rich?
Yep.
Oh my
He's
god.
like got on a website. He has like over 1,100 reviews of like different wines he's had throughout his life.
Yeah.
Also from the Northeast, I believe. Very rich, and he has been like saying great things about her still.
They're hooked.
Yeah,
They're all hooked. It's like she
What is her
mesmerizes them.
secret?
I think she's a
Look,
siren.
listen. I was watching Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd talk about her today, and Nick Wright was like, there's things I want to say about this, but I can't. I just can't on this show. And I know what he wants to say, so I'll say it. Pussy is powerful.
Well,
And
crazy
like,
pussy can be extremely
and
powerful.
they're getting lost in this and they're losing everything because they're old men. They're having sex with like, I'm not trying to be age discriminatory or whatever, but Bill Belichick's girlfriend was probably in her 50s, and now he's fucking a 24-year-old girl, and his mind is blown,
The
and he doesn't know
problem
what to do.
Here's the problem. You can just go on sugardaddy.com and get a girl that you don't owe anything to other than a nice apartment or something.
Yep.
You don't have to just go for a girl that's going to control your life when
Yeah, but
you're,
that's like the Justin Tucker. That's like the Sean Watson thing. It's like you can go to these girls and get what your fetish is. The the excitement for going through crazy stuff, what Belichick is going through, is the idea is that this is a real relationship. He also wants to believe that she loves him. And I think he believes that. Like he believes in the kindness of his heart that she really loves him. So he could pay like a young woman to, buy her an apartment and keep everything hush hush. But he now has the idea like he's in a real relationship. I think
yeah, it's, I don't get it. I never will. Y-
it's just weird because he was the hardest coach with like,
yeah,
you say nothing to the media. Your private life never should come in. Like, as soon as you're a distraction, you're out of here. No distractions. All this shit he's preached. And now he's coaching college and he's the biggest distraction. He's a bigger distraction than like a 19-year-old kid doing something stupid. Like, how many calls do you think Kirby Smart gets? Like, hey, one of your players was like driving 120 miles per hour at 4 in the morning, and he's got to fucking deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
that's what you're dealing with as a college coach, not your own bullshit.
It's weird. It's upsetting. Just the older you get, and all your heroes just kind of turn into pieces of shit.
Well, I don't think he's a piece of
He's a
shit.
piece of shit.
I think he was a piece of shit. I think
I
what
like not piece of
Thank
shit,
you.
but
Yes,
like
he was, Maddie. Yes, he was.
you know what I think the public has gone from though? They went from like, oh, Bill's creepy for dating a young woman, and it's now gone to,
This
oh,
woman is taking advantage
it's
of him.
senior
she's
abuse.
she's like, yeah, she's taking
She's
advantage of
senior
an old man.
abuse.
I
She's
had a
scamming him.
relative I never met. He was like Uncle somebody, Uncle Maury or some really Jewish shit. And he was rich and he had a young, it was like the nanny of no, no. Somehow they had a child and this woman took everything from him. Everything. And he ended up living in like a single room. And she like had a kid with him and she did everything to take
Yeesh.
everything from this guy. And this happens. This is very common. It just doesn't happen like with a massive personality like
Yeah.
this, but
I mean, you're rich and famous. You got your pick. Even
somebody's
if
got
they're
to do
very
a
young and
fucking
that's what you want,
intervention.
you still got your pick.
I'm sure a lot of these guys are like a lot of his coaches, a lot of his players that like him are like, Bill, we got to talk, buddy. Like, I know you're enjoying this. I know you're having fun. I know you feel young. I know you think she loves you, but dude, like everybody can see this. Everybody.
Wouldn't you think a college coach at some point has to, you're educating these young men and
Yeah.
you have to go look out for them gold digging women and all that.
Yeah.
These women that'll ruin your life. And then there's no way those words can come out of your mouth
The
when you're
problem is you don't
behaving like
know.
this.
That's the thing. I honestly feel like one of my relationships was similar, not like to this extent, but where somebody had a good situation living with me and even expressed that her friends thought she was like using me. And I thought it was ridiculous because I was like, we're in love. That's not true. They don't know. And you really believe that, even though
Mhm.
everybody can see it, you believe it. And I believe that Bill Belichick he's not like, yeah, she's taking me, but hey, I'm having great sex, so what do I care?
Right.
I truly believe he's like, you guys are crazy. We're in love. This is a beautiful thing.
Oh, you have to. You would have to be like that. Otherwise, there's
Yeah.
no reason to allow this to be happening the way it is.
It's crazy because he's such a control freak and he's letting her like dictate everything he's doing. And when North Carolina has to be like, okay, she's banned, and then they have to unban her and then go out of their way to like do a whole tweet about how she's unbanned, you know, she fucking yelled at him and they have her. Like they're afraid of her. And they should have just said, you know what? He's gone. Fuck you. We're firing him.
Well, I think to fire him would be a lot of money.
You
I think
sometimes got to cut ties, man.
if you could like push him out, like
You
if he
know,
wants to
no,
leave, it's
like North
whatever.
Carolina's not a football program. It only benefits you. You know, even the bad press. It's like fuck it. You know, like whatever.
I
If I'm
mean,
North
I
Carolina, I
my
don't give a
brother-in-law was
shit.
just in North Carolina, so his cousin went there. He went there, and he was saying they were mad at Belichick because a lot of the NIL money is going to football now, and they're not happy about that. So on top of it, this is just sad.
Clown show.
Look, people thought Dion was going to be a clown show. This makes Dion look like the most, respectable run organization. And really, Dion never did it. Dion's been fine. This is a joke.
How many wins for South Carolina? Do they make a bowl?
North Carolina?
Yeah, does North Carolina make a bowl?
I'll say yeah.
Yeah, sure. Everybody makes a ball, Jim. Even Nebraska last year.
Wow.
God damn it, Maddie.
Hurtful.
I mean, that's not like they make the Amici Meineke car ball. Sure.
I
I
don't know,
don't think
man. Like
I can't
if it
see
goes really off the rails, Florida State didn't make a bowl
I,
last year.
I can't see Belichick putting mustard or mayonnaise all over his face like steel toe, but you know,
You don't
He's not
know
really.
that anymore, Maddie. He's
Yeah.
under the influence.
yeah.
He'll do anything now. Tough day for Packers guard. What's his name? Sean Ryan. He loses $2 million because he played two less snaps than was required to get a $2 million bonus in his contract.
It sucks.
Then it's like
Yeah. That's
he
you
could
need
have
a
been
good
losing that
clause
money
here.
to some crazy 24-year-old girl. Instead, it's just losing it because he didn't play two more snaps. Sad news for
Damn shame.
American wrestler Kyle Snyder, charged in a prostitution sting.
Did you do this just because he was an Ohio? Did you put this on just because he's an Ohio State guy?
Oh, I had no idea he went to the Ohio State University, Jim.
Yeah, which
Thank
means
you.
he had the prostitute ring.
Yes, the prostitute.
How many men do you think go to prostitutes a year?
I don't know. You guys ever
Millions.
been?
No.
No.
Been
I know a
offered a
lot
few
about it
times.
from
Been offered a
our
few times.
I know a lot about it from our one of our old friends, though, who was addicted.
I'm pretty naive. I've been sort of solicited a few times without
Yeah.
realizing it.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
thought they were just
solicited a
being
few
very
times,
nice to
but
me. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm with someone else or something here. And then you go inside there. Oh, that hooker Sally's coming on to you out there. I see.
Well, Vegas is like just chock full of them.
oh, he was just added to the Real American Freestyle Wrestling League. Hulk
I'm sure
Hogan's
that's
in
not
Oh,
it.
gonna
Hulk Hogan.
stop
Oh,
him.
he'll fit right in there.
Yeah, that's not gonna stop him.
He is a real American. Yeah, he was like one of the best wrestlers of all time collegiately.
Oh, he was so good, dude. Kyle Snyder's a fucking beast.
Yeah. It's too bad. I don't know what's going on. I feel like
Also, it was just it looks like was he just seeking out a prostitute?
yeah, he just went to a prostitute.
Yeah, like
Like, you're American.
he's a good looking guy. Why does he need a prostitute?
Right, wrestlers used to crush. I mean, they crush in school.
Well, why does Bill
Yeah,
Belichick need to be with this crazy chick?
true.
Yeah, but he's
Nothing
not
makes sense anymore.
also true.
Nothing makes sense anymore. All right.
Oh, also, I guess he's married too.
Oh yeah, that'll do. That'll help.
That'll do it. That'll do it then.
Oh, one last thing too. Racism in the sports world. Can you believe it?
What?
There was a
Are we talking about Shedeur Sanders again?
California
Oh,
high school baseball player suspended for calling Asian opponent P.F. Chang.
God
Yeah,
damn
you
it, that's
shouldn't do
good.
that.
God damn it, that's good though.
Jim, you're suspended from the sports
I
team.
know, I know.
Someone on Reddit said, like, what if he played basketball and he was a power forward?
Yeah.
And then it was just facts. Anyway,
Ugh. That's PF Chang's pretty
I
good.
thought racism was done, and it's just not.
I thought you could be racist against Asian people.
Is that legal? That doesn't count as true racism?
Yeah.
Something to say though.
What's up, man?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No need to do that.
All right.
Oh, they also yelled at Indian players too.
Like from India, India?
Yeah.
Okay. What did they yell to the Indian players?
So there's this character on this Disney show who's Indian, Phineas and Ferb. His
Yeah.
name is Bajit, so they just kept yelling Bajit.
Yeah, that's what that see, I thought that shit went away. That kind of thing was very common when I was growing up, like especially if you didn't have a lot of minorities in your town.
Yeah,
You would
yeah, it was
just call them whatever the famous minority was on TV at the time or something like that. And it's weird that they're still doing that today. It's not really weird. It's just
some things
common.
never change. I
Well,
mean,
kids are
like
still shitty no matter
I was
what.
gonna say, like
So,
junior
like,
high and high
yeah,
school kids are still pieces of shit.
right. So I get that. All right, buckle up, guys.
Oh yeah.
Dark side of the ring.
Yes, sir.
Talking Billy Jack
Yeah, this is a
Haynes.
good one.
Such a
This is
good
like
fucking name
he's a
too.
real dark man. Very dark, dark side.
So he's based off of that character Billy Jack. Did you guys ever watch those movies?
I never knew
Nope.
that.
Oh, I love those movies. Like I
I
didn't see him growing up, and I found
yeah.
him as an adult, and they're fucking great. It's just like this guy that wears a cool hat, the same hat that
He's like a vigilante.
well, he's like half Native American or whatever, and
Yeah.
he's always like barefoot for some reason too. And these guys like are always picking on him, and then he's like, I don't really want to fight. But if someone makes me angry enough,
No, it was a
then he
good
just cleans
episode.
out a bar of 10 bikers. And then the movies would be really weird too, because then they would like cut to a classroom setting where some lady's playing acoustic guitar, and then they would give life lessons for 25 minutes. Very strange movies, but also awesome. So that's what his character was based off of. But this dude was jacked.
Just
Hence
like
the
Billy Jack.
Billy Jack wasn't too jacked. He was more of a,
But
he
Billy
was
Jack Haynes was
Billy
jacked.
Jack Haynes was jacked. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts on Billy Jack, but I'll let you.
Well, I'll go through my rundown.
Yeah,
Intervene at any time. I'll just
sure.
give it the history of Billy Jack. He's a rough and tumble dude.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to wrestle. He went to Stu Hart's School of Wrestling. Got kicked out for being too rough. Was
If
beaten
you're
up.
too rough and Stu Hart's, you are too rough.
I can't imagine.
Because that was like the whole thing of like the toughest, only the toughest survive. So when you're that rough around the edges and you get thrown out there, you really suck.
I don't know. Who do you think's tougher, him or Vern Gagne's school? Like,
Probably Stu Hart, but at the same time, it's like how you like to get thrown out that way. Like most
yeah,
people get thrown out that they can't cut it,
right. Like they're
so that
too
you're
weak.
too much shows you are not all there.
Does it make
Probably
you smile though that he was probably beating the shit out of Bret Hart every day?
that I have no problem with, but I'm sure they were like, this guy just doesn't get it, you know.
Um, gets kicked out. He goes, starts wrestling in the Northwest Territory in Oregon. He's a
Oregon,
big Oregon guy.
mm-hmm.
Would wear like Oregon,
The green duck
the
stuff,
Green Ducks logos all the time.
mm-hmm.
Big favorite up there. He was a big Jack dude.
Well,
Um,
he was perfect because he looked the part.
yeah,
He was a good looking, muscular, like exactly what WWF was doing. with their guys that, now they were, the like the Hogan looking guys, the
Yeah.
Adonis, and he had that look and he
Yeah,
was like,
looking the part was big in the 80s
yeah,
and 90s for sure.
Uh-huh.
Um, he teamed up with Ken Pantera. Down, down,
Ken
down, down.
Patera, yeah.
I know, just Ken Patera, but I just hear I'm broken whenever I say his name. Um, he was a very temperamental person. Just never knew what you were going to
Very.
get with him. He would be very kind one moment and then beating the shit out of you the next moment. He was a bully. He went to jail several times for assault. A lot of guys on the dark side said he would just pick on people he knew he could beat up. Big sign of a puss puss.
So
And
I was
then,
aware of, oh, go on.
oh no, go ahead, Maddie.
I
Sorry.
was aware of him, I guess, like being a elementary school kid, liking the WWF, being the East Coast kid. I remember him, but what I remember is they pushed him hard to be a good guy. And he always stuck out to me because he didn't seem like a good guy. Like, even at that, my young age of like 11 or 10, who watch wrestling religiously, I could tell that, like, he's not a good guy.
Well, he had
Like,
tattoos when in a time when
yeah, he had
nobody had
tattoos. And
tattoos.
the other thing about him, they don't really get into this, but this is something I noticed. At the time, the good guys were all about winning the right way. So, like, I'll give you an example. Like, Tito Santana was a very good guy, and I think his finishing move was the figure four leg lock,
Mhm.
and he never did it to hurt anybody. It was like as soon as the guy submitted, he let go and he won, and it was like it was all about winning, never hurting people.
Yeah,
So when Billy Jack Haynes would put people in his like full Nelson or half Nelson or whatever he put in,
full Nelson. Yeah,
like he would hurt people, and you
yeah.
could see like his aggression was not very much of a good
A lot of
guy.
the guys said they thought he was going to snap their neck. He was so
Yeah, and
aggressive with it.
it didn't really work because he acted like a bad guy.
And then he would like just toss them off to the side too after they
I
submitted
know it
too.
was
That
very
was the best
violent,
part of it. Just
but
toss them like a
it was
rag
very
doll.
violent, and it wasn't very like what you would say baby face. Where
No,
baby face guys are still like the good guys. They don't want to hurt anybody.
right.
They want to win the match.
They just want to win the right
Yeah.
way with
Mhm.
integrity. Oh no. This is the part you're not gonna see this coming, guys, but this guy got hooked on pills.
Oh, real? Oh my God! What?
Yeah.
An episode of
Starts
Dark Side including pill addiction?
starts missing matches and he was getting he got thrown right into the limelight too. I mean, within 4 years of just starting wrestling, he was wrestling at WrestleMania and whatnot. Starts missing matches. He ODs on a plane on codeine. He's like foaming
Mhm.
at the mouth. They had to um, what do they call those zappers, the chest things?
Resuscitate them.
Yeah, they had to
Uh,
resuscitate him like twice with the zappers. Um,
Defibrillator.
defibrillator.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think the
Um,
WWF at that time were realizing like he wasn't really registering to like where we have to keep him.
no.
So if he was better, higher on the card, they would make excuses and keep him, but he was too much of a liability.
Yeah. Again, like any sport, if you're good enough, they'll keep you no matter what. He was
Hmm.
not good enough. He goes back to Oregon and like so when he was coming up and he was wrestling at the organization in Oregon, that's like how he cut his teeth and everybody loved him there. So he comes in and then he opens up a rival promotion in Oregon. Like a total scummy thing to do.
Total scumbag.
And luckily, it didn't last that long. And then people were not getting paid. It got shut down. And then, and he owed a lot of people a lot of money. The checks were bouncing, very Herb Abrams esque.
Hmm.
Um, promotion gets shut down. And then that's when he starts losing his marbles a little bit. He starts telling people he was a major cocaine dealer. He starts going on all these, podcasts and shit. This was really fucking crazy. He confessed to witnessing a murder in Arkansas
Yeah.
I saw this thing on Unsolved Mysteries, and it has
Yeah, I
always
saw it
haunted
too.
me. And so when they started talking about it, I'm like, is this the same case he's talking about?
Yeah.
And it was weird because he said he was there. They wanted him to sort of be an enforcer and just watch and make sure that a drug deal transaction went through. And then these two kids that were just snuck out at night to fuck around in the woods stumbled upon it, and he was recording a drug deal while wearing a wrestling mask. None of that makes any fucking sense. And then he's hooking up with one of the boys' mom going on TV saying, "We're gonna find justice. I know who did it." Blah 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 blah. Sadly, the mom and the attorney all pass away. No, to this day, that crime has never been
And
solved.
let me just say, I was watching Jim Cornette talk about it with the guy from Dark Side,
Mm.
and some new news about that. Somebody did research. That day he wrestled in Rhode Island.
It's funny how simple shit can
And you
really
want to
be.
believe it because why would somebody lie? You're like, why would somebody lie about something so intense, put himself on
Yeah,
the neck to help the families of the victims to like get justice or get clearance of what happened to their, like their loving kids. Like,
right.
so you're like, why would somebody be so sick? But he lost his mind. He was demented.
Maddie, could you imagine if you had been murdered and then you're watching TV in heaven and Andre the Giant's holding your mom's hand saying they're going to get
Bizarre.
justice for you? Yeah, this is weird shit. And I can't tell whether this guy is sort of a calculated move, just trying to get attention, or he's just really going
I mean,
crazy.
he said that Bill Clinton was the head of the drug deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my favorites was that he bragged about delivering cocaine to Andy Gibb, who is the younger brother of the Bee Gees and had
Yeah.
a solo career. That was the most random one.
And he claimed Bill Clinton like wanted him dead. Like it was
Well, like, yeah, he said he worked for Bill Clinton as a drug enforcer. He said he might be the son of Vince McMahon Sr. He's like,
yeah.
well, my mom could have had sex with him.
Could
It's
have.
almost like a thing where like, hey Vince, like you fucked me over, but guess what?
Yeah,
I'm his favorite son.
I'm your I'm your brother. Um,
That shit crazy.
my favorite line was when Cornette calls him. He's explaining how he seems to be at all these famous fucking crimes everywhere. He's like the Forrest Gump of crime.
Yeah.
That was a fucking great line. And then one day he gets nearly beaten to death at some crime boss's dealership lot, which sort of then lends some credibility to him being involved in at least some form of crime, I guess. I don't know. The crime boss denied it. It was a little shady, but
He obviously got his ass kicked for something dumb he did. And
yeah,
and he might have
he
made it like more like romantic to be like, I this happened to me.
right because he botched it. They said it was retribution for something he did 16 years ago, like stealing $200,000 from
And
them.
it makes no sense.
No, they would have you fucking strung up and cutting your limbs off while you're alive within a
But he
week.
obviously pissed off the wrong people.
Oh, absolutely. He then there was an older dying wrestler named Rip Oliver. He gets wind of this and then goes down to Florida to live with him and take care of him, which his son was like, no, he all he did was steal my dad's pills. He
Crazy.
he had a free place to live with him, and then Brian Blair, one of the Killer Bees, has a foundation for like aging wrestlers and wrestlers that are in trouble because all these guys get fucked up on the pills and whatnot. He has got a charity for him, and then he he goes to Brian Blair and says, "Oh, this guy's dying. He needs all these back taxes to keep his home." Brian Blair gives him a bunch of money. The kid's son said, "No, my dad was never behind on his taxes or anything."
Right. Yeah.
Just a scumbag.
Yeah. He
Then when he,
was, this was like this kind of started out like, okay, guy with potential, fucked his career up, got into drugs and stupid stuff. But
Yeah.
then as it went on, you're like, wow, this guy is a really bad guy. He's a
Yes.
really bad guy. And it
And
was weird.
again, I'm not sure if it's full badness or he's just crazy too. Like
I think it's a combo of
it
both.
could be a combo. Yeah. When he was 70, he marries his friend's mom, who's 85 and has dementia.
And let's also say they said the guy, this his friend, they said suddenly died. They didn't say how he died. So that's suspicious to me too. They didn't get into that.
Well, he
But
was,
how
I
did
think he
this
was on
guy
hospice or something too. I don't,
okay.
yeah,
Because
I
I
think
was like, did he murder the son too?
he murdered everyone. No, he didn't murder.
Everybody,
The
baby.
son was still alive, wasn't he?
No, they said the son died.
Oh, I didn't
They
see
go,
that.
the son was against the relationship.
Oh, the son of the mom. Yeah,
Yeah, and
sorry.
then he
Yeah,
suddenly died, and they didn't get into it. I'm like, he suddenly died. A young guy
right.
just suddenly died.
And
That's
then the
odd.
Yeah.
episode ends with Billy Jack Haynes murdering his wife,
Who was 85 and
saying
he
it was a
was 70.
mercy killing.
And there was, I'm not like, God rest her soul, probably a lovely lady, took care of Billy Jack Haynes, but not exactly a looker.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
man, she was 85.
I don't. I think Jim
Jim
still
might have
would.
threw it in. He'd have
Jim
sex
still
with
would.
Sonny now. I mean,
A little different. A
Jim's
little
seen
different.
sunny days.
yes, sunny days are over, Jim. But
If I
yeah,
get dementia, though, you guys are more than welcome to shoot me in the back of the head,
yeah,
though.
he
And
starts doing these
this is,
interviews too, like the
yeah,
shooting interviews, and he just starts saying all types of crazy shit, and it's like, wow, this guy is gone.
yeah. And he did. So this is one of the rare ones where the guy's in prison. He does a dark side of the ring interview too. He doesn't really say much except for more
Yeah,
of his kooky bullshit.
yeah,
Um,
and he
he'll
does this
probably,
lawyer
my
dance.
get like it's weird. He kind of looked like he's very alive though. Like he doesn't look like he's on death's door or
No,
anything.
he's very coherent too. Like
Yeah,
he's you can ask him a question and whether he's telling the truth or not, he's aware of his. He was playing this game with his lawyer too. Like they'd ask him a question, he'd be like, "Can I answer that, or what should I say?" And it was just like it's just part of his manipulation, you know?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's it was funny hearing the Jason, the Canadian guy behind it, going, "But you told all these stories already." Like,
Yeah. They
ah,
also he talked about it too to Cornette, and he said usually we approach people. He goes, Billy Jack Haynes approached us.
That's awesome.
Like he
yeah.
wanted to, and then they're
That's
like, we
also
went
very
there and
telling.
he couldn't say anything.
He's one of these people that got addicted to cameras and microphones too.
Yeah, he really did.
No, but
Very
hell of an
mediocre.
episode.
And I will say this, a very mediocre to, like at a time, he had a great look. He was probably perfect for Oregon because he's a local guy. He's a
Yeah,
local hero. He's kind of like their local Hulk Hogan. But when you go to the big time, you got to bring more to the table. And he just wasn't that good. And I think, he realized that and that led him to all the shitty things he did. And I probably did get addicted to the love. He got addicted to the cameras, to the action, to the life. They also talked about how like WWF, whether he was a drug dealer or not, he was a loner and he would disappear. Like he would go places and nobody knew where he was, and they think he was dealing drugs, or so
Probably.
he says.
there might be some truth to that, but it's also if he was making that kind of money, it would have been nuts. That's a long time to be a drug dealer and never be put in jail, too.
Yeah.
Like at least
Well,
a
that's the
high end one.
mystery. It's like you can interview him and he can tell you 1,000 things about his life, and five can be true out of 1,000,
Right.
but 995 are not true. and you got to figure out like what is true and what is not, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. I do believe that some things are definitely probably true with him. I think he probably embellished a lot and then made up a ton of other shit. So,
It's a great story as like it's a psychiatrist wet dream is who he is.
have you ever seen Confessions of a Dangerous Mind or read the book?
No, but I would imagine it's something like
So
that.
that is Chuck Barris, who used to host the Gong Show.
Yeah.
He wrote this big tell-all book. So when he hosted like the Newlywed Game and the Gong Show, like so if
Mhm.
somebody won on the Newlywed Show, he would chaperone them in a foreign city,
Yeah.
and he claimed he was a CIA agent and
Yep.
that like he would go carry out assassinations
Like I know
while
there's a movie about that with
yeah, it was Sam Rockwell. It's
Sam
really
Rockwell. Yeah.
it's very entertaining, absolutely. But this was a fantastic episode though, and I love that it did deviate all to over his fucking lies and
He had a
whatnot
lot of
too.
lies, man.
But back to the
Ah,
Dabbleverse though, this was like original Dabbleverse shit.
He would be studied if he was in the Dabbleverse and they
He was a
wanted to
guy
cover
that was
him.
popular for one thing and then became profitable to
Yep.
people by being a loser afterwards. And
He would
then,
be perfect. If he
yeah.
was not in jail, they could probably
Oh, and
start
he was,
flipping
yeah,
on
he
him.
would make money for these interviews and
Oh, and he'd
podcasts
love
oh,
it.
100%
Yeah.
he would.
And he'd love the fights. He'd love the wars with everybody.
All that fun stuff.
He'd be
So,
about it.
well, that's it for Dark Side. I don't know. Are we done with Dark Side for a
I
minute?
think there's a Sheik, but I don't know if that's not for a while, right?
I don't think it's for a while because we've been pretty much a week behind and there wasn't a new one.
Yeah.
Um,
Great episode, though.
yeah, great episode. We'll figure out something
Good
else.
season. I like the
Yeah.
Ludwig Borga one a lot.
Yeah,
And this
surprisingly, how
one.
they've been able to find all these fresh stories,
Mm-hmm.
deep in whatever season 6 or something, 5 or 6, but still happy to tune in
How
every
many
week
episodes
for
is that
sure.
for this season?
7.
6.
I think there's supposed to be 10.
Well, I think they break it up.
They did that last year. I remember that. But
I need 2 assists from Halliburton and 1 point from Donovan Mitchell.
okay, so there is. Oh, the new one's coming out tonight. That's why, because we're doing it Tuesday. We've been doing it
Yeah.
on
Yeah, so
Tuesdays.
we've got
So
Bloodfire and the
the
original
original Iron
Sheik.
Sheik, which is the
Then we
Sabu's
have
uncle. Yeah.
the Scream Queen Daphne.
I don't know her. That'll be interesting.
That's May 20th, and then we have
Okay.
Becoming Muhammad Hassan, May 27th.
I don't know who that is.
Muhammad.
Those are the titles.
Is
Okay.
Muhammad Hassan that one WWE wrestler they made as a terrorist after 9/11?
Is that what they did for real?
Well,
Oh,
remember that one they did a promo for this wrestler they were putting out. He's like, I
yes,
live.
Luke, it is. It is.
Oh, perfect.
Mark Julian Kopani from
Oh,
2004 to
and he's like just
2005.
an
Yeah.
Iranian or Italian
Best known
guy.
for his appearances in WWE from 2004 to 2005, where he portrayed an Arab American under the ring name Muhammad Hassan.
Oh my God. Hold
Because he's
on.
like, you're gonna
Let's-
9/11
His
happen.
career came to an abrupt end when a controversial terrorist angle coincided with the London bombings of July 7th, 2005.
Yeah,
Only
it was
Vince
like
could come
it
up
was a
with
whole
that.
terrorist angle. It was the greatest
Only
fucking.
Vince.
That's a very much a Vince move.
Oh, it was like one they were like in the neighborhood. It always shows up on like my worst promos. I can't find it right off the top here, but it was so funny. It was like, I'm your neighbor and we've always got along until 9/11, and then I became your enemy. It's some shit like that. And they're showing a neighborhood like a girl on a swing set and stuff.
Absolutely.
I'll try to track that down for that episode for sure. I'm sure it'll probably be featured on that episode because it is fucking hilarious. So, all right, dudes, anything to add before we cut out for the week?
Congratulations to
Nope.
the Indiana Pacers
They
and the
haven't
New
won
York
it yet.
Knicks for getting wins and making it to the next round of the NBA playoffs.
Wow, Jim's
We're
calling
jumping
it,
the
even though it's
gun.
not done yet.
Congratulations
Jumping the
to Pizza Hut for getting in with the UFL.
Did they? I
Yeah,
didn't know that. I'm surprised that I didn't
Well,
know
I'm
that.
not a Pizza Hut guy because they fired Ween years ago. So they had a deal Ween to do a song for their commercials, and they fired him.
Did you say the way they
They're
treated
they're on the redemption tour right now.
Okay,
Jim Brewer when he was doing a commercial for them? He was doing a commercial for them. He was trying to eat the pizza in between takes, but they couldn't do it because it would ruin the continuity. He's like,
so
I just want
cool.
to eat the fucking pizza. He's
Yeah,
like
that's
throwing a
funny.
guy out of his way and running away so he could eat the pizza. It was
Yeah,
really nuts. So, all right, guys, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next
yeah.
week for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. Bye bye.